So here I am reading poems, which is odd, but I'm doing it. And speaking of In Deep, the chapbook that was published by Clan B, I'm going to read the first poem. Is the first poem in that chapbook, and I'm a person who is always sort of looking inward or sort of askance at life, looking for something that sometimes isn't there. And this poem opened the chapbook, and I want to read it here. It's called Ask. What fragrance do I bring? What seed to the field? What mortar to the bricks? What melody to the chorus? What ink to the pen? What stock of paper? What bait to the hook? How much weight to the line? What questions do I ask? What hope do I hold? What love do I seek? What paradise? And now for the requisite COVID-19 poem. In New Jersey, we're allowed to take our masks off at a certain point, and the park that I walk around for my exercise on this particular day, folks, for the first time, were maskless, and this is called Passing in a Bleak Time.
Thank you.
A doe with one nursing fawn on the path. Mid-afternoon, when the sunlight rises from the ground to light their eyes, a skunk and 3 feral cats, not neighborly, but fully present, just as they are and where they should be. Without trumpets or saints, 3 eagles climb to some heavenly cloud. A man and a woman pass, waving, masked. Their air was warm, their pace measured, their hands free of weapons, full of a generous welcome on this sick, luminous day. And now to lighten the mood, this is a poem that I wrote with fake headline news, but I'm sure you'll find some truth in it. It's called Headline News. They're all headlines. Boy with 3 arms wins bartending award. Conjoined triplets start punk rock band in utero. Woman with testicles wins Boston Marathon screaming, "These are not my legs." Farmer mates daughter with a horse. We're hoping for a unicorn. Dead unicorn found at a New Jersey dump site. State police rule suicide. Neil Sedaka comes clean. I am a lesbian. Homosexual vampire attacks Pat Robertson. 700 Club awaits resurrection. Elton John comes clean. I am not a lesbian. Jesus returns to earth. Pope claims first dibs on shroud. 2-year-old boy admits he was recruited by agents for the gay agenda. Quote, "They turned me into a fag, prostitute, AIDS-infected drag bitch in order to infect the entire state of Kansas." Pat Robertson comes clean. I am the fruit who caused 9/11. Alien bacteria found in Trump's urine. Satan vindicated. Virgin Mary appears in Walmart candle aisle. Stock soars. John Paul II on fast track to sainthood after Carmelite nun transforms into third baseman for the Orioles. It's a prayer answered. Virgin Mary appears in Bucha morgue, leaves in cab claiming wrong address. Impossible things that can only happen in dreams, or the holy scriptures of an unnamed God. Take off your pants and put them in the toaster. Hand me my shoes with your tonsils. Walk on your ears, you're not listening anyway. Cut summer jonquils with used toilet paper. Celebrate the new year in the belly of a locust. Stand on your eyes and spin. Be a lily. Become a saint by fighting for the destruction of the Holy Mother crutch. Ask an octopus for the nearest exit. Drive a car without a torso. Pirouette on a blade of grass. Enjoy an evening of sex with the person you really love. Swallow a swallowing swallow. Call the orange cyclops and expect a visionary answer. Become a saint by assassinating the faithful. Immigrants. That was in the news. And immigrants come two places. So this one is called the Litany of Oneness. Want to leave fear home. Want to be an immigrant. Want to waste the boundary between my myth and yours. Want to flow into faces. Want to make stars and bring you there. Want to eat you. Want to go into the gullies and fuck the mud. Want to get clean and holy without having to suck God's dick. Want to walk straight. Want to talk crooked and grow wings with it. Want to sing. Want to sing without melody, dance without rhythm. Want to blues it. Want to pick it hard and burn it. Want to do it, to it. Want to be an immigrant. Want to flee. Want to go to Saint Germain. Want to lick Hemingway's seat and smoke weed in a toilet. Want to tickle Verlaine, make him sing no-word songs when I cross his border. Want to dive beneath the infrared. Want to find invisible things. Want to make true sentences false. Want to be an immigrant. Want to take the slow road. Want to risk the desert. Want to be sent back to nowhere, man. Want to set up shop there. Want to buy furniture made of bones. Want to be comfortable, see. Want to live in the light of the late afternoon. Want to do it on Titan. Want to be a silicate. Want to be a hadron, a neutron, a photon, and a bonbon. Want to be sweet and juicy to the lepers. Want to swallow the secrets of love and come to rest. Little bit of seriousness here. This is a poem for that resulted from the gay youth who committed suicide in Hennepin County in Minnesota, in Michelle Bachmann's district. The next two poems are related to that. So this is called Surreal Times for Miss Liberty. When Michelle Bachmann was asked, as she was leaving the airport, what about the children who just killed themselves? She said, I have no comment. And the county was advertising legislation which they called no homo promo. And they would just say that publicly, like on the news, that's what they would call it. So this is for the people, the children, who died, and they were TJ, Aaron, Nick, Cole, Samantha, Kevin, Judy, Justin, Jordan, and one more, Tyler, who was a Rutgers University freshman with my stepson, Dave's son, who threw himself off the Brooklyn Bridge after he was outed by his roommate. This is called Surreal Times for Miss Liberty. A blue queen at the bottom of a well begs for a lift from Mr. Lincoln, who spots a boy floating from a bridge in Brooklyn, not with wings. A tree sprouting dead children from a hillside in Minnesota. Captures a boy in the Scouts chewing on a bullet, wanking on a ripped flag, lets go, swinging from a thread around his neck. This piece, again, for the children in that county, this is called They Say the Tide is Turning. And I had friends of mine, colleagues of mine, who support us 100%. They would say things like, but aren't you, you're so lucky to live now. Isn't it great? So much has changed. And I would look at them and I would say to them, Go to Topeka, Kansas and say that. You see, so the tide, they say the tide is turning. Gone, baby, gone. This poem is so far gone and the ink so clear that two fish are in it. Don't get any ideas about where this is leading, because here's the kicker. It's a fabrication. You bought the two fish idea. You're still here waiting for something to come of that. Don't get any ideas about where this is going. It's not. It's a ploy, a device, a scheme to redirect your attention. There once was a man from nowhere who thought he knew about glassware. See? It's easy to take you to the depot and drop you off. But there's no train. There's no place to go. There is only this right now, and we are in it balls deep. You, me, and the rest of the fish waiting to be picked off. So what's next? Do we talk about love, or truth, or proof rock, or sestinas, or the voice of the poet? Or should we pause and talk about queer kids swinging from their belts in bedrooms in Minnesota? And now for a quiet moment. I go on a retreat. It's very important to me, and it's very quiet. There's no talking for 8 days, and I become somebody different, as my husband will tell you. And I like going there. This poem came out of that. It's on the coast of Massachusetts, and it's a beautiful place. And I get to hear the shrimp boats coming and going. They come in the morning, and they go out, you know, in the middle of the night. But I see them coming in. And the boats that they use, the particular fishermen leaving out of Gloucester, they're called novies. They're these low-slung boats where their traps are kept. So this is called Adagio at Grace Cove. The novies come in on a southern heading, then the sun. The traps are pulled, and the hope is that the catch is good enough for a boat full of uncertain fishers to share. Then the stranger on the beach lights the fire for a breakfast of barbels or sardines or St. Peter's fish. Again, the sun and the perfect line of sea sky to light the guests with loving kindness. Am I good? I'm very taken with the surreal, and I write poems that sometimes take me and the audience there. This poem is a trip to the surreal that leading to the real, and I always find myself in these pieces, but I never know when that's going to happen, and this happened near the end. So this is called The Boy at the Circus. The boy has a key to the savage party. What could he unlock here? The acrobats climbed ropes to swings and flew like skilled bees. There were suited capuchins, dwarves in gowns, twirlers, spinners, rollers, and tumblers, and the flowered clowns. He took water to the elephants who wore skirts and honked for hay. The horses were crowned with peacocks. The band played at music, and the dancers danced Baroque steps. The crowd roared as a choir of lions yawned. They gave him the tallest hat and the scalloped boots, and he led the parade as the players waved and the swans landed to fly him home to cloudy mirrors. I write about love. I don't know what it is, but I think I discovered it recently. And I mean, Dave knows all about this. And at our wedding, I said, "Here, this is a love poem. This is as good as I get," because love is very challenging. Love and fear, love and hate, love and anxiety—they're all on the same plane, and you know, sort of there. But this is a poem about a guy who's kind of hopeful, and it's called Hopeful. Look at this. A man walks into a bar and says, "Help me. He gave me his heart." Nobody turns. Nobody creaks off a stool and offers the man a war medal. Not a soul. Listen, he's telling you that he is alive because a stranger handed him something nameable. Who cares? You're thinking Samaritan, you're thinking saint, you're thinking divine intervention, who knows? I found 2 tears once, no one cared. So this guy in the bar says, "Help me, my heart is broken." Who knows? I certainly don't. Mine never healed. I bought him a whiskey. The bartender, no, I like the word barkeep. The barkeep slides over and says, "What's it like to know that red is the color of something else besides wounds?" Who invited him? Look, the guy is hopeful. A sailor walks in and hands him a lemon. Now what, he thinks. Who knows? Might be love. Might be something other. Something unmentionable. Yellow is tricky. Now, I am a jazz fan, JC, and this is a Chet Baker poem. And I was listening, to RTI and Chet Baker, and Almost Blue came on, and he's a cool dude. Unfortunately, died a horrible death. Big old junkie. So while I was listening to the music, this one popped up, and it's called Chet Baker's Almost Blue. Yeah, almost blue, bent over a horn in your white shirt. How many bags in were you? Digging deep, bending notes, that easy blue one to make into smoke for the girl in the front. He was somewhat of a ladies' man. Am I good? A few ekphrastic pieces. I have a whole series of poems based on Dali's work. He was a freak. I read a couple of biographies of him, and he used to sit at a table in Caracas with this woman. It was like a farm table, and they would sit at this table, and she was a dirty old woman, and she was like, she thought she was beautiful, and her husband left her and never came back, and he loved her stories, and she was waiting for him to come back, and there's a picture of him with her. And this poem is called Blood is Sweeter, because she said to him, "Blood is sweeter than honey, and I am blood, and honey is all the other women." So this is called Blood is Sweeter. A fisherman's wife with a fat bun with no love sits beside a crab shack looking for him. He wants me more than you want the rise of your prick. She is La Tramontana, the wind of despair that batters Catalunya and offers rope to the weak. She is the breath from the still bay that reeks of cod and madness. She's waiting for the man who will never come because he knows how tart her taste would be, a rank hemoglobin mixed with the stench of an untested wound. He wants me more than you want your big-bottom French slut. She is a seer, and that is what attracts Dali to her table beside the shack. Let her pick at shellfish and swallow grapes whole. He loves her paranoia, her critiques, her blend of salt and mud. She is the inside of him turned out in a black dress with odd stains. And this is for my man Jackson Pollock. He's my fave of faves. So I just thought I'd throw this one out there. This one's called Pollock. I have a few of these. This is one of the later ones. Cadmium swoops the bird, yellow swims the fish, buckets pour the rain into lavender, but not of fields, of Wyoming sky, but a new country, all over the splashed floor, into view for the moment. The arm dives, grows wings, up, up, down, down, hard. Artists have cocks too, that crow with action that changes vigor to color. This is a piece about Frida, after I went to her exhibit that was here. It was recently published in a journal from the University of Hawaii called Vice Versa. This is called Frida. The blue house has a courtyard and gourds and fat Aztec bitch goddesses with stone bellies. The column is a cracked spine of steel resting in traction. The fetus has a flower. The fetus is a plant with one root that's buried in a skeleton. The nursemaid has a shredded breast. She wears a mask. The husband has a too hungry dick. The child wears a crown. The child died and was not cured by an ex voto sentiment. The mother isn't one. The mother has a fissured womb, a desert, a cracked landscape of dry blood and dust. The father pokes in its dry bed. The monkey licks a tit. She put it there to say, "My dead child." The parrots suckle on sad nipples, chafed and dark. Frida says, "This is me. Look at this paint." Frida lays flat on a floating bed, draped in steel vines without hope. She is a whole melon, splayed and seatless. I just have two more. I don't want to appropriate the Me Too movement. I have no intention of doing that, but it does cross genders. And this poem is about my Me Too experiences. There were, unfortunately, Me Too experiences. And it's called Memoir. And there's a song that I love by Supertramp called The Logical Song. And Dave knows I love this song. And in the chorus, he says, "There are times when all the world's asleep, the questions run too deep for such a simple man." And it goes on. But that thought informed my thinking, reflecting on my Me Too moments. Memoir, after Roger Hudson. The red eyes and the tired tongue tell about the ditches and caverns where my worms sing, beneath the dark black rot of irises that were once the color of irises. See it across my face where the shame came, where the groping and the tying up and the knife came close to a forced entry. There I am, over there, to the left of where the rope met the skin. I could have used this, the one in which there was a setup, the one with splayed legs. That one is still sharp. When all the world's asleep, dive in, I say to myself. Lurk around the scarred rocks. And finally, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you both. Just such a pleasure. This is a poem about my brother. I was 11 when he died. He lived for 5 days. He was a blue baby, and it changed a lot in the family dynamic. And so Dave and I went to visit his gravesite. I had never been there. My father would not allow my mother to go. It was, just about an immigrant family, patriarchy, the whole thing. The women were not permitted to see the tragedy, only grieve for it. My father and my 2 uncles went to the gravesite with the priest. My father carried the coffin to the gravesite, and then they came back and said it's over, and then everybody forgot about it. But they didn't. I did. This poem is what came out after we went to visit Scott's grave. His name is Scott. And the title of the poem is the location of his grave. P1042 Center, on 2/12/22. Raise him up, raise him up, raise him up. To the earth above and below let the green infuse this nightingale featherless. Raise him up, featureless. Raise him up above the stone to float to me on a cold February morning with snowy feet and delicate wings. That air was nothing on a day like no other. Raise him up, raise him up, raise him up today when the bare trees reach for what? Not you, but because you are not, but beneath my feet. Raise him, raise him, raise him, raise him, raise him up, raise him like his stone, raise him as a son, raise him as a brother, raise him as a blue heart, raise him to his mother's empty breast, raise him to his father's weeping hands, raise him as a poem of goodbye. Thank you.